Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another leg of the Sevens. This one in Singapore. It is a shortened competition, which does mean you've only got 2 matches in the group stage. South Africa, they are in a group with Great Britain and Argentina. It's pretty much, tell you what, the voice is shocking today, isn't it? It's pretty much winner stays on. Whoever wins this game still has a chance of making it through to the next stage, but they will also have to beat Argentina. And that will be happening a little bit later on tonight. South Africa, they were unlucky to miss out on the quarterfinals. They needed to be a little bit better, and I feel like maybe this league, the shortened competition, we've got to remember the last shortened one was in Cape Town, and they were able to win the whole thing at home. But looking through at their starting lineup, Sebastian Job is in the starting side. Ryan Oosthuizen and Tristan Leys, Shilton van Wyk, Selvin Davids, Xander Reinders, and Zane Davids. Also in the starting 7 for GB, it is Will Homer, Luke Messon, Tom Williams, Tom Emery, Sonny Jardine, also Shelton Kerr, I should say, and Harry Glover is in there as well. So, whoever wins this game, like I said, they have a chance of making their way through. It will be whoever has 2 wins from 2 makes it through to the semi-finals. So you don't even play a quarter in this shortened format. You're straight through to the top 4 with an opportunity at making it to the final. Now, I will mention, whoever wins this group, they will be playing the winner of Group D, which involves New Zealand, Fiji, and the USA. So they are also in that scenario of winner stays on. So at the moment, Spain versus Uruguay has just come to a close, which does now mean that Spain have got a chance of still moving forward. What we will quickly do is we will check to see who else has won the other games that have taken place, because that will tell us who's already in and who's already out. It is such a, honestly, it's a cutthroat type of layout. You're either in or you're not. And we see here so far the results that have taken place for the men's. Ireland lost to Kenya. So Kenya still have a chance of qualifying, but they will have to beat the French in their next contest. Points differential, it might come into it if everyone's won 1 game, but I don't think is that possible? Yes, it might be, but yeah, more than likely winner will make their way through. So the South Africans have made their way onto the field in that bright green and gold. Do let me know, of course, your score predictions for this one, ladies and gents. They missed out on the quarters last week, and they know roughly what they did wrong, which is great news, and they're going to move forward. Try and make the most of it. GB, they made it further than the South Africans last week. Spania says Blues there, and High says Illyria. Nick Hogan, the New Zealand referee, will be in charge of this one for his 127th match. I also mentioned straight after this game, we're jumping into some Super Rugby Pacific between the Blues and the Hurricanes, then followed by more of the Sevens throughout the rest of the evening. Selvin Davids, he will be kicking off this one from right to left to get us underway in Singapore for this shortened competition. I've just mentioned there that they are currently ranked 4th, South Africa. They cost themselves a little bit. Britain by 7. So you're going with an underdog story in this one. It's going to be knocked forward by Xander Reinders, cleaned up by Shelton Kerr inside of his 22. Almost got driven into touch. Harry Glover plays half. This Blitzboks defense was strong at times last week, but every once in a while they leaked an easy try, and that was really the difference between the win and the loss. Now, good attack and run forward. Sitting only maybe about 35 metres out from their own line, so still a long way to go. Looking to go short side here for Tom Emery. Oh, almost stolen the breakdown from Selvin Davids. Doesn't quite get it. Will Homer plays half. Going off to the left. A little bit of a low pass, but now cleaned up by GB. Going to try and use the pace of Williams. Now Homer just taking a little bit of a longer time there to find the gap, and does just that. Selvin Davids, the draw and pass is beautiful from GB. A foot race that is not going to be won by Emery. In fact, he was caught by 3 different South African players. And they move into the 22. GB One of their players has stayed down. This does not look good, but there is also the advantage in their favour. He was looking for the offload on the outside. I would say the reason there wasn't a player there is because one of their guys is still down. Britain by 7. I only picked GB because of mum. I'm not 100%, say 25, and they are going to be checking this one. Right, this is going to be interesting here. Is this some foul play from one of the South African players? And if so, what is going to be the extent? It's head on head, and it is Sebastian Job who has been penalised for it. This could be bad. This could be at least yellow. It's foul play, direct contact to the head, no mitigation. This is a red card. Sebastian Job, within 90 seconds of his tournament getting underway, he will now not be returning for this match. He can't quite believe it. He's done the gasp with the hand over the mouth. I think first of all he's going to go over and apologise. Oh, the guy's still down actually, so he's going to be apologising to him, but I don't think the GB player will remember it. And yeah, that is going to be a brutal one here. Sebastian Job, his tournament might be done, not just this match. Of course, with such a short format, you lose him now for the rest of this match. They are going to be up against it. The stretcher has come out. Do hope that Tom Emery is going to be all right. And like I said, they don't think that it was completely intentional. It's just wrong tackle height going into it and has KO'd the GB player. They are just showing there, Argentina at the top of the bunch, sitting on 88. So that is where, if South Africa or GB win this game and then beat Argentina, that could heavily benefit the Fijians if they are able to finish first in their group. They have got New Zealand in theirs sitting on 50 points. The USA in dead last on 10. So they are one of the sides that really do need that big jump up. But the top three at the moment are very close. South Africa are in fourth on 66, currently 22 points behind the top side. And we see there Coach Perry Baker. There were rumours that he was possibly going to be coming in as an injury replacement here for the US. He's got the boots on. Whether or not he's going to be playing might be a different story, but he might be in action in that game up against the Fijians later on today, which we are going to be covering on the channel too. But we have just got that stoppage at the moment, ladies and gents, due to Tom Emery staying down after taking a high shot from Sebastian Job. Okay, so they've just said there, if USA have any sort of injuries, Perry Baker will be added back in. Go South Africa, says Matthew. And there now they have got that mountain to climb with being down to 6 for the rest of this contest. And it's not even, it's not even 2 minutes or 3 minutes at the end of the game. It is still a full 12 and a half minutes left that they will be down to 6. So GB will know they are in the box seat here. They've got potential of being able to break the line a little bit easier. We saw how quickly they got shut down by the pace of the Blitzboks, but if they can lure enough players into those defensive situations, might be the difference. They are just showing New Zealand also warming up. They are only 15 minutes away from their game up against the US. Of course, that one may be delayed a little bit, depending on how long it takes for Tom Emery to make his way from the field, as he is still down. Doesn't look like he's moved a huge amount, which is a bit of a concern there. Zane Davids and the Blitzboks. This is one of those moments in sevens you hate to see, and you also know for the players that they are trying their best to stay slightly loose, because you get ready to go out there, you reach that intensity level, and then when you have a big stoppage like this, it's been about 4 minutes so far, it really does halt momentum. See GB, they've at least got the ball in hand, so they're just passing it around, staying fresh at the moment. Everyone else standing completely still, conserving their energy. Selvin Davis just having a little bit of a chat to his teammates here about what the plan will be. I would think that with a penalty here, GB might actually opt for, I would think a scrum, but they might actually just go quick tap and try and shift it out left. Tom Emery, they are once again just taking all precautions to make sure that he is going to be all right. Has brought the action to a grinding halt at the moment between these two teams. So while we have got this stoppage, I guess we should mention about the other games that we are going to be covering on the channel for today. France versus Kenya at 9 p.m. New Zealand time, which is going to be a 10 a.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa. Argentina versus South Africa is at 9:44 p.m., which is 10:44 a.m. in South Africa. 10:06 p.m. will be Fiji versus USA. And then from there, we've got Fiji versus New Zealand at 1:22 a.m. New Zealand time, or 2:22 in the afternoon for you guys in South Africa. They are just still putting Emery on the stretcher. Make sure that they don't end up hurting his neck any more seriously than it already may be. Shilton Van Wyk is out there on the park. He's got pure pace. The crowd giving the round of applause for Emery here as he is going to be stretched off. But yeah, the momentum halter of this game. Let's see what that does to both of these sides. Does it fire up GB? Does it fire up South Africa now that they're defending with one less man on the field? It was nasty hit to his head. Says Blues, Nate. And yeah, Sebastian Job, I don't think there was any ill intent in it. It was just wrong place, wrong time in terms of where his head was. And 1:22 a.m. Miami, that's our New Zealand time. That is correct, yes. Or 12:22 for you guys in Fiji. 12:22 a.m. that is, or 2:22 p.m. in South Africa. We've got a few time zones worked out at the moment, which is quite good. 5.5 minutes remaining here. Crowd clapping along to a bit of We Will Rock You, but he has taken off now, Emery. Hopefully he's going to be all right. Sebastian Job, he is disappointed. The thing is, as a player, you're feeling a lot of things there. Because for one, you didn't mean to, so you feel like you've let your team down. There's also that situation of you never want to go out there and try and hurt a player, so you feel bad seeing how long he stayed down for. But we're back into the action. GB have got the ball, sitting only 22 metres out from the line, going straight through. Oh, that was a foot trip on Tristan Lades. It was an accident, but you could argue that from what happened there, Glover's going to score it. But in the replay here, I think we'll see Tristan Lades did end up getting tripped by one of the GB players. They both tried to run into the same zone at the same time. Ended up tripping him over. And GB will score the first try of this contest now. That kick has gone over. GB lead this one 5-0. I will mention that we are not 10 minutes into the first half. It is just that the clock kept on going. It just shows you how long that stoppage actually was. The fact that he was down for a good 5 or so minutes, so hopefully he's going to be all right. And we do get some sort of update about him later on in the comp. That's going to be knocked on by Will Homer, so the Blitzboks now have got themselves the possession. Sitting 7-0 up at the moment for GB. Nice cellular dummy from Tristan Lades. Slammed towards the touchline and pulled out. So it is now going to be the line out for GB. Working well next to the sideline. Carries, we've seen 12 so far from GB. That was the first for the South Africans. Tristan Lades, he's already had quite a tough game out there. Some big hits coming in on him. Thrown in now by, it was GB. Try scorer Glover. Goes back across to the left-hand side. Finds Homer. Has got the youngster on the outside, Mason, but he doesn't use him. Back across to the right. And this is where if they keep on shifting it wide, there will eventually be gaps in the Blitzboks defence for them to go straight through. I support New Zealand and anyone playing England, says Shane. So you are going for the Blitzboks in that case then. Now another attack and run. 10 metres out from the try line. Kerr goes back across to Will Homer. Pops it up. Another big fend. Offloaded back. And it will be another try this time. It is Sonny Jardine who has managed to score it. And GB have got themselves the 2 tries early. I mentioned about it. This competition, because it is shortened, winner stays on. Whoever loses this game has a very, very thin chance of making their way through unless they are within 7 and get that bonus point. If you don't do that, you're probably going to miss out on any chance. It's going to be a big one. Of course, if you finish second in the group, you will play off for an opportunity at the 5th to 8th places. But we've got to remember here for South Africa, if they finish, let's just say for a second, they finish last in their group. It's not what I would have expected at the start of this comp, but if that happens, they're playing off for the 9th again, and they're going to be dropping down points-wise in terms of having a chance at the title. Oh, that ball's going to be knocked out of their hands. Referee says play on. So it means that Great Britain again are going to be on the attack. Goes off to Will Homer, and that will be the 3rd try of the match for GB. This is domination at the moment, and they just can't get out of their own half, South Africa. In fact, they're struggling to exit their own 22. We're going to see the replay here. He challenges in the ruck, knocks it out of the hands of Shilton Van Wyk. He felt it was a penalty. The ref did not. That's not in the script. Put Colby on, says Shane. But yeah, GB have certainly made the most of that man advantage throughout the first half. Huge momentum in their favour. And they just continue to go. That one has gone over. Still another 90 seconds remaining in the first half. Kicked off. Almost slapped back by the USA. Ryan Oosterhuizen, though, has got his hands on the ball. Only the 2nd carry of the match. Maybe 3rd for the South Africans at this point, but they are a dangerous side. They're down by 21, though. How are we in the time? We're sitting currently 1 minute remaining in the first half. Tristan Lates fires it out wide. It is a flat pass out to Ryan Oosterhuizen. Fends off Mason. Trying to get the ball. GB give away the penalty. Tristan Lates has been heavily involved throughout this match. Does a big floaty pass out to Selvin Davids. One more to Zane Davids. Bulldozes over the big man. And he scores the try for the Blitzboks. A much needed one. The scoreboard's gone to sleep, I should say. GB's defence slightly did there too. Sevens, man, so hard to call these days. And what time do you think this game will end? Probably about, I'd say, 6:52. Scoreboard amendment, bro. It is currently, oh, there we go. It has just updated. But it was live the way that it was going. They just hadn't updated it on their end. We have got there about, I suppose, GB. If GB plays another country, subtract New Zealand. If GB plays New Zealand, of course, 100% New Zealand for me, says Spider-Mick. That kick is missed away to the side, so the score will remain 21 points to 5. Still time for one last kick in this first half. Zane Davids, one of the veterans of this Blitzboks team. Oh, South Africa take too long to have the kickoff. That is a crucial error that was just not necessary. It looks like GB, are they going to go for the tap and kick this ball into touch? It looks like it might be the plan here. Will Homer, he's been told to speed it up, takes the tap. No, in fact, GB are going to try and run this ball. They're saying we've got the man advantage. Let's see if we can strike one last time. But that is the type of tactic that can sometimes backfire, but then it can also be the difference between a win and a loss. Nice step from Charlton Kerr. Homer going off to the left-hand side here for GB. Jardine goes up to Glover. Looping around was Tom Williams. And now Mason with the step breaks through Selvin David's tackle, I should say, and GB strike again. Don't you have a game tonight at 7 p.m? Is it that going to be late? It will not, no. This game will be finished by then unless we have some sort of other serious injury. But yeah, we will still be starting at 7. It's 16 minutes away, and this game's probably only got another 9 minutes remaining. It just means that I won't get any sort of break really in between the games, which is also why I didn't end up doing New Zealand versus USA. It was supposed to be starting now, but it just wouldn't have fit in before that Blues versus Hurricanes matchup. But now GB with a kick to come of Will Homer, and that red card of Sebastian Job is still in play. And it just shows how much a card can impact not just the mentality of a side, but also just momentum-wise. Like, haven't really been able to stay in this game, South Africa. And looking at the scoreboard, it's getting ugly for them. They have to try and fire back. Yes, GB scored this many points in the first half, but if they can get 2 or 3 near the start of this one for the South Africans, there's still a slight chance that they can at least finish this game with 1 point. And I feel like at the moment, in this shortened format, that has to be the bare minimum that they go for. They have to get some sort of reward or else they will be utterly disappointed with what has happened out there on the field, even more so than they probably already are. They will have to make sure that they beat Argentina comfortably in their next game. That is one thing that they can do. They can cause an upset, allow GB to maybe make their way through because of that points differential. Hi, everybody. Late tuning in. Had to make coffee for the guests. Says Bruce, and 21-point lead. Prediction by GB by 7. Hex says Blues. No, yeah, I think you're in the right ballpark maybe for this one. Kane's Blues. I can't wait. Moana really got this round pumping. Says Shayna. That's the unpredictability of Super Rugby. All it takes is one upset, and every game you head into it with question marks of whether or not someone else can do it. It's like that Fijian Crusaders game, 17-0 down at halftime. In the back of the mind, you're always thinking, well, Moana Pacifica scored 38 points in their second half, so are we going to see that again? But it will be very interesting. See what happens in that contest. I should also mention that we have seen a few other matches already take place in the women's side of things. The Fijians bet Ireland, China bet Brazil, GB bet USA, and Japan bet Spain. So of those games, that kind of tells you who the ones in contention still are for the women's semi-finals. But the second half has got back underway, and GB with a confident lead of 21 will have possession here. Glover shut down by 2 men. Of course, when you've only got the 6 on the field, having 2 men in one breakdown can cause gaps if the opposition can find the offload. Box 7 struggling lately, says Xander. It definitely didn't help getting a red card within 90 seconds. I do think that if they hadn't had that happen, it could have been a whole different game. But GB have been good, and we've actually seen a lot of missed tackles from even someone like a Selvin David straight through again, and it's another try. This time, Sonny Jardine gets his second. And Great Britain are really ramping it up here. Second try in Singapore, second in this match, 12th of his career. And we have got there my prediction from the start, 26-5. Well, you will now be wrong, as we have seen another try that has come for GB. Jardine, yeah, just missed tackle, too many big gaps. And GB are playing the perfect game plan up against a team with less players on the field. That's about all you can say. They've been clinical, they've been strategic, and the Blitzboks have hardly had possession. When they did get the ball, they scored. So GB have gone, well, we're not doing that again, because look what happens. But now ready for another kickoff from the halfway line. They have to be very careful here that they don't get stalled too much. And while the Blitzboks says annoy, our L6 up against 7, not fair, says Spider Mech and Blues all the way, should be a beauty, says Sai. It's going to be a really good game, and we will be covering that one on the channel, jumping over to it in 12 minutes' time. This match only has another 7 or so. Nice pickup from Schutten van Wyk. Got the ball away now to Ricardo James Duarte. Got a new haircut compared to last week. Hoping maybe for the disguise. I know that he had a lot of errors last week, a lot of penalties against them. Commentary be like another penalty against the Blitzboks and another knock on by the Blitzboks. Yeah, it's been quite a common factor, but we're about to say another try for the Blitzboks. They're 5 metres out from the line, and they get themselves the penalty this time. Deval Human goes for the quick tap. Only a couple metres out, and it is try number 2 for South Africa. Glover has stayed down with a bit of an injury by the looks of it, but slower getting back up to his feet. But that is what South Africa need to do. They need to get within 7, like I said. If they don't, their chances are gone. Because theoretically, right, it has to be happening in a certain way. But if Argentina win their game up against GB, and then South Africa win their game up against Argentina by more than 7, South Africa would actually qualify at the top from having more points. Points differential is not something that they can rely on. They have to make sure. Well, that's the thing. That might make Argentina go through, because Argentina would have to beat GB by a certain margin to stop their bonus point, I believe. I've confused myself now. That's why so disappointing, says Bruce. And pass through, brother. How about those Waikato Chiefs top of the table? Just give the trophy back to work on Venture. Says High Life. Yeah, doing very well at the moment, the Chiefs. Getting a good win over the Reds, top of the table clash. So you guys are getting better with Rugby 25 game. Are there camera angles for the game? Well, are there other camera angles? Yeah, there's a sideline one, and you can also be zoomed in and have it swing and all sorts of things. I just find that this angle that we've got does normally work the best. Now 3.5 minutes remaining. South Africa's dropping in South Africa, Oz, and New Zealand men's. Says Hanoi. Another change being made. Sullivan Davids will make his way off, and Donovan Don will make his way on. So far we have seen 51 passes from GB compared to I think it was about 11 or so made by South Africa. In fact, it might have been 20, but missed tackles, 5 missed. They've had to make 23 tackles here, South Africa. Normally sides and sevens don't have to make that many. That's what they've had to deal with from that red card. Ball's being fed in by Great Britain. Pops out the back. Going off to this right-hand side. I do think that if GB can find a way through this Blitzboks defence, that's another penalty advantage. Another penalty and a yellow card for Devolved Human. They're now playing with 5 on the field. It's going from bad to worse. How many can they get down to? Maybe like 4? If they do end up with another penalty against them, like they've just said, like Devolved Human, he shouldn't have done it, but he had to try something to get that possession back, because at the moment, the Blitzboks just can't get their hands on the ball. It looks like they have called for the scrum. That is going to lure in 3 players, which means they will only have 2 defending here for the Blitzboks. 1 on either side, I would think, or maybe 1 situated behind the breakdown. How much time is left? Says Xander, still another 3.5 minutes remaining. And 2 minutes remaining of that DeWalt Human yellow card. I set up instant Spanish subtitles. I guarantee your audience grow. Have a good life. What you do is great. Thank you. Says Cesar. Thank you very much. And we are, of course, going to be covering some more Spanish games in the near future. Going back across to the right-hand side. To the right here. And South Africa have to scramble with the 5. Nice stepping. Goes through defenders. And it's another try now for GB. It's just going from bad to worse. Matt Davison, the man who does score it. South Africa is as bad as us this year. Says Shane. And upset says which country? Yeah, this one, don't get me wrong. Having a man disadvantage is going to cost you a few points in the overall scheme of the match. But to lose by this margin, I feel like is a little bit more than some would have anticipated, even with that disadvantage for South Africa. They have just not been clinical with their tackling. We've seen about 6 or 7 missed. That one's missed from going over, has hit the post. There's still 2 minutes 15 remaining. And Great Britain are making a statement here, saying that they want to go through to the semi-finals. To be able to do so, though, they will have to beat Argentina. There's going to be a crucial game taking place at, I believe it is around 1 a.m. New Zealand time. Oh, that's an ugly landing. And that's going to be a yellow card at least here for Harry Glover. Looked like Donovan Don got his neck crunched. They just want to check this landing. This might be another player getting taken off on a stretcher. But he went up for it. Glover went for the ball. Does miss it. Slaps into him. And Donovan Don, he hits his head and crunches it to the side. This might be a red for GB. Just the way that he fell, though, Donovan Don, was extremely ugly. Kind of did, those diving competitions overseas, how they jump off a high board and then right at the end they tuck their neck so that they land and make less of an impact. It's kind of the motion that he made, except he wasn't jumping into water. He was landing on grass. A hard turf. GB showing off, 6 up against Sevens. Says Spider-Mickey, although it was 5 up against 7 for a moment. Looks like now not Sebastian Job, but now Donovan Don will be getting taken off the field on a stretcher too. This is an ugly game, ladies and gents. We've seen 2 guys injured here. And suggesting for placing my bet on the Hurricanes versus Blues. No pressure, mate. I would recommend not placing a bet. That's my recommendation. And yep, says Blues, Nate. Yeah, it's a really ugly aerial challenge. Both men went for the ball. Glover did not make contact directly with Donovan Don, but I think it might still be a yellow card. Canes by 5, says Shane. Yeah, the TMO just making the decision. Massive tuck there. Bronze for Shell. Says the Blues, Nate. Yeah, Donovan Don is still down. Forget about a red or yellow penalty will do. Says Spider Mech. There is foul play. There's contact in the air. Lands on his head. Recommendation red card. So Britain as well as South Africa are going to have red cards here. I'm also a British citizen, but I want South Africa to win, says Bruce. Glover's a bit disappointed about it. So I think he's asking the question of if he had landed normally, would it have still been a red card? Yeah, Glover's not happy about it. He's going to be making his way off the field. And now Donovan Don still getting a little bit more medical attention. This is going to be one of the longest Sevens games we have covered on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. And only about 4 minutes' time, we are jumping over to cover Hurricanes versus Blues. So hopefully it's not going to be a huge stoppage here. But they are just talking about the fact that these two sides, I mean, they get along quite well, I would say, overall. And like we see there, Selvin Davids and Glover having a bit of a chat. They know that it wasn't intentional in that case. And yeah, Harry Glover also going over to the head coach of the Blitzboks and saying it wasn't intentional. South Africa Sevens is bad. L discipline panic just bad, says Eric. And Fast and the Furious, says Danielle. Yeah, we've currently got 2 minutes remaining of this contest. We've got our next live stream between the Hurricanes and the Blues taking place very soon. I didn't think that a game starting at 6:26 was going to go right through to now. We're going to have about a 34-minute match, ladies and gentlemen. The ref should stop this game. Box can't win. Sounds like it is just getting ugly, says Xander. Yeah, they are just showing the points that are available. If you finish outside of that top 8, you only get 4 points maximum. And that will make a massive difference, not just for the South Africans, but also for Great Britain. If they're able to get a little bit higher up, they put New Zealand closer to the relegation zone. Although they can't go out of the comp. A score prediction for the Blues in the Landers game. Blues versus Hurricanes, I'm pretty uncertain about. I'll put $5 on the Canes for fun, says Will. As Madness, says Bruce. And there as well. And better check that grass, taking a beating today. Says Blues now has New Zealand played. No, they were supposed to play at 10:45. Or sorry, 6:45. 13 minutes ago was when their game was going to be starting. But we have still got a couple other stoppages beforehand. So Sawyer's Wapi is one of the more veteran heads out there on the field. What we will quickly do while we are waiting for this second injury, we are quickly going to go on to that next live stream. I'll just let everyone know that we'll probably be about 2 minutes late on the Super Rugby one due to the stoppages in this match. Starting a couple minutes late because of the Sevens running long. That'll do. That doesn't really make a huge amount of sense. Still will be here before kick off. There we go. Perfect. But we are still waiting. Player taken off the field now. So we're going to be back underway. They're just checking to see whether or not the Volhuman is able to return. But I believe he still has time left on his yellow card. South Africa picking GB. Ref pick on South Africa. A busy day at the pick and pay, says Eric. And time to jump to the Blues. See you there, Amy, everyone. Says the Spider-Mech and Blues Hurricanes next. Yep, it is going to be taking place in only 5 minutes' time for that kickoff. Now South Africa, they have got themselves the possession again. Ricardo James Duarte trying to find his way through. Passing across, it is currently 6 on 5. Kicked to behind from Shilton Van Wyk. Good cover defence from GB, who will put the ball down inside of their own area. So it will be now taken back. No damage graphs. Perfectly fine play on. The Blues and Hurricanes, we have to wait. This is more important, says Bruce. Like I said, by the time the scrum is set, we will pretty much be at full time. Yellow card is also able to return back out onto the field. I got the smiling face there from Bruce. I should also mention during that Super Rugby match between the Hurricanes and the Blues, we will be keeping you guys updated with what is happening in the Sevens side of things, who is getting knocked out, or not well, in this match, literally 2 players at this point, but yeah, who's getting knocked out of the comp and who's still going. De Volhuman puts it on the inside. Oh, it's dropped by Shilton Van Wyk. If they had scored that one there, they could have got a little bit closer to being within the 7. De Volhuman now going to fire it back across though, as they have got the penalty. Sullivan David's not on the mark, passes across to Impivesa, who now takes the tap and knocks the ball on. Just trying to rush it there. And that is the mistake. How long left? Still another 34 seconds. The Blues game starting, says Sean Johnson. It kicks off at 7:05. The live stream that we were going to be starting was starting at 7. So we've still got a little bit more time, but only 24 seconds remaining of this matchup. By the time the scrum goes in and out, more than likely, it will only be another 30 seconds. Now, ball's going to be fed in by Great Britain. On off to the right-hand side. And Bruce, let's go. Great call. I already changed the channel. RGB play good out there. Now going off to the left-hand side. And that is the full-time siren. GB will have the opportunity to just boot this ball out. They get the penalty, so they will have to tap it first and then boot it out. But this will be a massive win for the for the Team GB here. 38 points to the team. And nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are transferring over to our Super Rugby stream now, so I will see you all for the next one.